While he was scheming, I was beaming in the beamer, just steaming. Can't believe that I called my man cheating. So I found another way. You make me wanna shout, make me wanna scream, make me lose my cool. I'm gonna throw my hands up,
Make me do dance floor bootylicious. Party with me and Blue. Hot tamales, we bum rush the parties in Denali's on Ducatis and drop top Ferraris.
You're only lonely when you're home, ain't gotta ride.
They always tell you the music business is brutal, but no one expects to watch a star evaporate in plain sight. One summer, your radio can't escape her platinum heartbreak anthem. The next, her name rings fewer bells than a forgotten ringtone. Blu Cantrell's rise was textbook lightning. Hit 'em up style. Oops shot to #1. 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 in July 2001, blasting past veteran acts and announcing a new R&B firebrand to the world. The industry loves overnight victories, right until it doesn't. And within 3 years, the same rooms rolling out red carpets for Blu were shrugging when her name came up. How does that happen? Was it bad contracts, mental health chaos, or a chess move from the most powerful couple in pop culture? Lean in, because every answer just opens another door. Even before the blockbuster single, label executives swore Blu's raw, gospel-trained voice could muscle her onto the same tier as Mary J. Blige or Faith Evans. They weren't exaggerating. Her debut album, So Blue, hit shelves less than 6 weeks after signing with Arista, and the lead single's revenge fantasy hook lodged itself in the American psyche at the speed of gossip. Critics predicted a Grammy run. The Recording Academy agreed, handing her a nomination right out of the gate. Money looked inevitable, but the fine print was poison. She'd hired an entertainment lawyer, only to learn later he also represented the label. Ownership of masters, gone. Publishing percentages, slim. By the time Hit 'em Up Style went platinum, Blu's pockets were lighter than the CD jewel cases on store racks. None of that stalled her momentum overseas. In August 2003, she dropped Breathe, pairing smoky phrasing with Sean Paul's patois, and the single bulldozed straight to #1. One on the UK chart for 4 consecutive weeks. Official charts. America might crown you once, but Europe will knight you if you bring the magic twice. Blu had now proved she wasn't a novelty. She was 2 for 2 on continental smashes. Yet right at the peak, something shifted. Festival bookings cooled. Radio testing mysteriously downgraded her spins. Arista execs who used to call every day stopped returning emails. And the rumor mill offered a single explanation: Jay-Z. In 2003, paparazzi lenses caught Jay in Saint-Tropez with a tall woman whose aqua eyes all but named themselves Blu Cantrell. Tabloids teased a secret romance, and insiders whispered that the fling overlapped the early spark between Jay and a rising solo Beyoncé. Jay brushed it off as coincidence. Beyoncé kept working. Blu, on the other hand, watched green room doors start closing before she even reached them. Promoters who'd begged for her on Friday suddenly had budget conflicts by Monday. A textbook industry cooling, but too synchronized to feel accidental. Timing made the chill look colder. Not long after Breathe, Beyoncé unloaded Baby Boy, another Sean Paul duet soaked in Caribbean percussion and breathy come on. Pop fans called it friendly competition. Conspiracy blogs declared it a corporate remake designed to eclipse Blu's glow. A few months later, the cinematic teaser Blu filmed for her horse-themed single, Roundup, appeared to echo frame for frame inside the glossy '03 Bonnie and Clyde video that introduced the world to Bey and Jay as ride-or-die lovers. Coincidence? Maybe. But if you were Blu, watching the budgets vanish while a megastar couple borrowed your lane, paranoia would feel like logic. Then the gossip sites found something juicier than overlapping singles: a name. In January 2012, Beyoncé and Jay-Z welcomed their daughter, christening her Blue Ivy Carter. Fans gushed about the color imagery. Internet sleuths got weirder. They noted that Blu spelled exactly like Blu Cantrell's stage moniker, while Ivy could be read as the Roman numeral 4, matching Blu's March 16th birthday, 316-7. Numerology forums had a field day. Fringe theorists insisted Blu Cantrell had secretly given birth, that Jay-Z had orchestrated created a hush arrangement, and that naming his child Blue Ivy served a double purpose: celebrate fatherhood and bury any Google trace of the singer who once shared his spotlight. Wild, absolutely. But let anyone punch Blu Cantrell into a search bar today and count how many Ivy Carter photos outrank the woman who made the name famous. Algorithmic accident or intentional erasure. The optics are brutal. Still, even tinfoil conspiracies need catalyzing events, and Blu's catalyst hit like a midnight siren. At 2 a.m. on September 3, 2014, Santa Monica police responded to calls about a barefoot woman screaming that someone was pumping poisonous gas into her body. Officers found Blu in the street, distraught and rambling. She allegedly pulled the "Do you know who I am" card before being transported for psychiatric evaluation. TMZ devoured the spectacle, branding her a one-hit wonder gone berserk. Headlines wedged mental health stigma between her name and every future opportunity. Labels consider optics before talent, and the image of insanity sticks faster than a hook. If that meltdown were an isolated tragedy, industry vets might chalk it up to hard living. But Blu's breakdown echoed a pattern. Kanye West institutionalized days after railing against media gatekeepers. Britney Spears paraded through tabloid hell the moment she pushed back against her guardianship. Jaguar Wright, the neo-soul insider who publicly accused Jay-Z and Diddy of silencing competitors, saw her interviews spliced or yanked following legal threats. When Wright repeated claims that Blu, Maya, and Monica were all quietly suppressed so one queen could rise uncontested, mainstream outlets dismissed her as unreliable, so unreliable that Piers Morgan Uncensored later issued an on-air apology to Beyoncé and Jay-Z for airing Wright's totally false allegations. Whether Wright exaggerates or exposes, the knee-jerk censorship only deepens suspicion that powerful forces prefer some stories buried. Money trails rarely lie, and Blu's bank statements tell their own horror tale. She'd trusted a label-recommended attorney who, she later discovered, also served Arista's interests. Royalty splits favored the house, not the artist. Her sophomore LP Bittersweet squeaked out modest stateside numbers, but crushed in Europe, yet accounting showed fractions trickling back to her account. She confronted the label. Demands escalated, and within months, her option for album 3 simply lapsed. Corporate amnesia is a neat trick. No firing, no breach, just a silence so absolute it feels surgical. Watch the timeline. December 8, 2004, LA. Reed appoints Jay-Z president of Def Jam. That same fiscal quarter, Blu Cantrell's Arista paperwork expires without renewal. Different companies, yes, but overlapping executive suite, shared radio promo team, and a web of favors that makes Nashville politics look polite. When the new king of hip-hop also controls a slice of everyone's playlist, you don't have to pick up the phone to make things disappear. Sometimes you just don't pick up at all. Blu was hardly the first talented R&B woman whose trajectory faded as Beyoncé's solo era scorched the charts. Mia scored Grammy, collaborated with Jay-Z on Best of Me, then watched label politics shove her to indie limbo. Monica, fresh off So Gone, hinted at unseen gatekeepers blocking radio support. Fans still debate whether any single hand guided those declines, but stack enough coincidences and they start to look like choreography. Add Aaliyah's 2001 plane tragedy, a loss that removed the most direct rival to a Destiny's Child breakout, and the internet's darkest corners spin industry sacrifice theories too grim for daytime talk. Skeptical? Good. Skepticism keeps the lights on, but skepticism also asks, why does a Google search for Blu Cantrell first fill with a billionaire's child? Why did a police blotter headline travel further than her double platinum resume? And why, 20-plus years later, do younger audiences barely realize the woman behind Hit 'em Up Style is still alive, still performing on European club circuits, and still singing circles around half today's playlist darlings? Maybe the simplest answer is the model the industry runs on. Sign young artists, dangle fame, lock masters, and move on to the next phase once the novelty wears off. Maybe Blu burned bridges by demanding what she earned. Maybe the 2014 Street episode spooked insurers beyond repair. But those explanations don't erase tracks from radio libraries overnight. Don't bury search algorithms under royalty-free baby photos, and don't synchronize schedule cancellations across 4 continents. Organic obscurity is slow. Blu's blackout was instant, and that's the chill. If one misaligned romance, one signature on the wrong line, or one breakdown caught on a phone camera can flip a platinum powerhouse into an industry ghost, how many other voices are humming in exile today? We remember TLC's bankruptcy saga because they screamed it into microphone. But what about the singers who never got that mic back? For every JoJo who clawed her way out of a contract in court, there's a Blu Cantrell whose legal war chest ran dry before the first filing fee cleared. So maybe the Blue Ivy conspiracy is just clickbait, a coincidence wrapped in numerology and SEO. Or maybe it's the digital tombstone of an artist whose brand was repurposed by richer architects. The truth lives somewhere between provable fact and whispered rumor. But here's what is certain. Blu Cantrell's talent didn't vanish. It was sidelined. Her catalog didn't stop resonating. It just stopped receiving oxygen. And if a voice that loud can be muted at the flip of a switch, imagine the quieter ones we never even notice. Keep that in mind next time a fresh-faced phenom rockets up the charts. Watch who they date, which contracts they sign, which executives smile for the cameras, and which suddenly stop returning calls. The music business isn't a dream factory, it's a memory shredder. Blu Cantrell's story is a reminder that history is written by the playlists that survive, and that erasure is sometimes just as deliberate as a chart-topping hit. Now, tell me in the comments, whose vanishing act should we investigate next?